The Toronto Real Estate Board says home sales in the GTA dropped last month. This is due to fewer sales of detached homes. Transactions decreased 40.4% in July compared to the same month last year. The average selling price of all homes in the GTA up 5% from a year ago. However, this is the third consecutive month of decline. The average price down nearly $175,000 since April. And joining me now to talk about this is Mark Brown, Senior Editor at MoneySense. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So should sellers be worried about this, that $175,000 drop over the summer?
Yeah, it sounds significant, and 40% drop in number of sales is a significant number. Sales always do, though, tend to lag in the summer, and it's getting a bit more of a drag because of changes to mortgage rules, new measures like tax changes to a slow foreign buyer. So there are other drags. The uncertainty factor is certainly adding to that pressure.
Interest rates, I mean, they went up. They're probably going up again. Is that a factor as well?
It is. It's a factor in two different ways. For some, it's a motivating factor to get into the market before rates do go up too high. They want to get in, lock in the rate. If they want to get in the home housing market, this is their time to do it. This might be their last time in their view. Whereas on the other end, people who are in the higher end of the market are getting a little bit more cautious because the prices are so high.
Now, as we look across the GTA, Toronto compared to the rest of the GTA, how does it look? You know,
it's a real mixed bag. I mean, you go out to Oakville, Burlington, and you're seeing, prices are more or less flattening out. We saw, sort of 5 to 7% dip earlier in the year, but it's already flattening out, and it's fairly consistent with last year. You go up to York, completely different story. We're seeing prices down anywhere from 7 to 15% year over year. We're seeing homes on the market sitting about 40% longer than it did last year. The number of new listings is up significantly in some areas. So, York was one of the hot areas, and it's now seeing a bit of that clawback right now.
So you wonder, as a person here, were you seeing greed before the summer in the spring market? Was there a lot of greed out there, people trying to capitalize?
I don't know if it's greed. I think a lot of people felt, if the prices kept going up, and they said, oh, they can't go up much farther, and then they did, and people are just chasing that. Have bidding wars. The market's cooled a little bit. We can't really say that for sure and say what's happening for sure until I think the fall, September, October, we'll get a much better idea of where this market's going to go.
But it does show the unpredictability of a market, right? Because, I mean, you meet a real estate agent, they'll show you a chart which says everything goes up, but maybe that's not always the case.
Not always the case. Vancouver knows that very well. We're going through a bit of what Vancouver did. We saw after they introduced their foreign buyers tax, we saw the market cool for a period of 3 to 6 months, maybe a little bit longer in some areas. Now that market is going back up because supply. There's not enough supply, tons of demand. If the supply remains tight in Toronto, which it is to a certain extent, and demand is still there, you're going to see prices continue to rise.
So what about the power change now? Because it sounds like the buyer has a little more power than the seller.
A little bit. I mean, you're not seeing the same sort of bidding wars that you did see. People selling at this time of year, aren't the same sort of buyers or sellers that you would see in the fall. They're selling for the most part for a reason. They have to move. They have a reason to sell the house, so they're a bit more motivated to strike a deal. In the fall, it's a different game entirely.
So really, we have to look for the fall numbers to see how it progresses, because this is generally a slower time this summer.
Generally a slower time. The hot areas, the really hot detached housing markets, if we start to see them go through what we're seeing up in York region, then it might be a bit more time for concern. We're not really seeing that across the board just yet. Condo market is still very strong. So it's an uneven market, and again, we're going to have to wait until the fall to get the
buckle our seatbelts, right?
For sure.
All right, thanks for joining us, Mark.
Anytime.
Okay.